Hey guys, and welcome back. So in this section we'll talk about decorators. Now, what are decorators? They are stage 2 proposal for JavaScript, but then they are available as an experimental feature of TypeScript. So to use a decorator, they're essentially functions, but to use them, you prefix them with an @sign. Okay, and you generally place them before a class or a property to define them as a particular thing. Okay, in Angular especially. Okay, um, we have a lot of decorators which are predefined by Angular. So we have class decorators like ng module, component, directive, pipe, and injectable. Then we also have property decorators like input and output as well, and then others like inject and host listener. Okay, what I mean by class decorators is that these decorators that are highlighted in orange are class decorators, and then they are used to define a particular class. Okay, so say for example ng module decorator. This is how we can use it. Okay, so we have a class here, and then we decorate this class, or we define or call the ng module decorator right before we define the class. Okay, what this ng module decorator will do is the metadata that we have provided to it. This right here is the metadata, and the metadata that we provided to it will tell Angular that this particular class is a module in Angular. Okay, now we have just specified the provider's metadata, but then some other fields can also be specified like declarations, imports, exports, and other things. Okay, similarly, we have a component decorator which is used in this way. It is again used on the top of a class. So it is sitting on the greet class with metadata values like selector and template. Okay, and this will tell Angular that this particular class is a component. Some other metadata fields include things like change detection, view providers, module ID, style URLs, styles, amongst other things. Okay, then we have the directive decorator, which is again a function to which we specify or which we provide the metadata object while calling it, and then it is also called right before we define a class. Okay, so there are some other types of decorators that we'll have a look at once we are using them. But what they essentially do is they transform a particular class or a particular property into a particular building block in an Angular application. Okay, so uh, we'll get more familiar to the concept of decorators when we start once we start with the code. But this is just a brief overview of what decorators are. Okay, next up we'll quickly talk about the style guide and the design patterns that we should be following in our Angular applications. So stay tuned. I'll see you on the other side. Bye.